Do you feel like you're in a loop, like you're constantly thinking about something, about a person, about a thing, about something that you cannot control? And you know what? That's totally normal. That's your brain trying to make sense of what happened. That's your brain trying to make sense of what is going to happen, what might happen, because it hates uncertainty and it fears it so much. And that's why it's trying to project, that's why it's trying to figure it out. But guess what? It doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be like that because it is not healthy. It is useful to think about what might happen. It is useful to draw conclusions from the past, but it is not useful to think about the same thing over and over every day. It is not useful to try and project what some person might do or what might happen to you, because you do not know that. You do not know that, and there are so many variables out of your control. And you know what's the most important part among all of this? It is outside of your control. So there is absolutely no point in trying to focus on what is outside of your control. And I know that's easier said than done, but wow, that really could change your life, because there's so many things outside of your control, but there's also so many things within your control. And you know what's the worst thing that you can do? Trying to focus on things that are outside of your control and trying to fix them when you really cannot. When you cannot really control what another person thinks of you, you cannot really control what another person will do, and you for sure as hell cannot control what might happen to you, or if you're gonna get that job, or if you're going to get hired. Yes, you can maybe prepare better. Yes, you could maybe have prepared better. Yes, you could maybe prepare better in the future. But it doesn't matter because it's in the past, because you've tried your best in the present, and all you can do is draw conclusions from the past, try to be better in the present, and do not try to project things onto the future, because those are things you cannot predict for sure. So what do I mean by this? I mean, try to free yourself from this loop if it is on something that you know you cannot control, because that loop is endless. It is endless, and I know it very well because I myself am in a loop and I try to get out of it, and it takes time. Accept that it's going to take time, because for me, it is about a person that I really, really think is the most amazing person in my life, but now they're gone. And of course, I'm in a loop because the emotions are there, but that's not a bad thing. That is not a bad thing. The emotions are not a bad thing. Accept the emotions, but try to free yourself. Try to realize why the emotions are there. That's something very powerful. Try to think about why you're thinking about this person. What exactly are you trying to get out of this? And try to realize that whatever you're going to think, whatever you're going to think you might do, is pointless. It is really pointless. And okay, I'm conflating maybe the two topics, but really, I am talking about thinking about other people, or trying to make sense of other people's actions or what they might do. And I'm also talking about trying to make sense of what might happen that is outside of your control, like a job promotion or anything similar. And the two are probably very, very much tied, and they definitely are. So why is it important to not do this? Because think about it, your time is pretty finite. Your life is pretty finite, and of course you can spend it thinking about a person that matters to you. But think about this, you do not control what they do. You do not control what they might say. You only control how you react. You only control what you do with your time. And for sure as hell, you don't want to spend it on another person that potentially does not really think about you the same way, or they do not really care. And you don't know that, but that's okay. They will show it through actions, through things that will indicate it. But there's no point in trying to get yourself stuck, because you can never, ever control a given outcome. You can only ever control how you react to that outcome, because the outcome is very dependent on so many factors, and especially when it comes to people, it is so unpredictable. So really, try not to devote so much time to other people and their reactions, because you can never control them. Do not devote time to things you cannot change and things that are outside of your control. Devote time to things that are, because that's something that life gives to you, and that's something that only you can really make sense of. The other things you can never make sense of, because they are not made in a way that you can make sense of. Therefore, you are wasting your time. And there is no time to waste, because your life will just pass you by as you think about other people, as you think you can solve all the problems that you cannot control, and then you realize that you've just wasted a ton of time on something that you cannot change, that you could not have changed, and that has probably hurt you, but now has hurt you even more because now you are realizing that you have not only been hurt, but you have lost your time and you will never ever get it back.